Quick opening statement. First of all, thanks everybody for being here. Really appreciate your coverage. Appreciate you taking time out of your day to be here and cover not only just football, but volleyball and all of our other sports. So it means a lot. I know it means a lot to all of our coaches as well. We learned a lot from the past loss. And, we covered that with our team on Sunday. I thought we responded really well today on Tuesday. And now we have a top 25 team coming in TCF Bank Stadium with the Michigan State Spartans. And very well coached, very good football team, and very talented football team. So very deep football team. So we've got to work it out for us. But we had a great week of practice. Coach D'Antonio has done a tremendous job at Michigan State. I've got a chance to play against him a lot of times just being at Western Michigan, and very familiar with him and what he does and how he does it. And his culture just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and they just keep reloading. And, we've got to be at our best, and we've got to solve some of the issues and challenges and go out there and play really well on Saturday night. Great challenge for us, though. Great challenge. And this is awesome Big Ten football here. 7 p.m. kickoff night game, 21st ranked team in the country coming in. It's a wonderful challenge for our players. So with that, open up for questions.
Were you surprised what they did to Michigan at the Big House?
I don't think. I think they beat them 8 out of the last 10 times. So I don't think you can be surprised at all. I think it'd almost be the other way. If Michigan beats Michigan State, you should be surprised at these times. But being where Michigan was ranked 7th, that's a big win for the Spartans. That's a big win for their program and where they are in 2017 and where they'll continue to go and where their trajectory is going. So anytime you have a big win like that with a young football team, that's what creates that, that excitement, that enthusiasm, and really propels you into the future. So when you win those and you have a young football team, that's what happens. So credit to them.
As an observer, what did you see with their team last year going 3-9, and how have they returned to the trademarks of his teams?
I didn't follow them a lot last year. I mean, we're all kind of in that same area, so, there's a lot of teams to follow. But, it's just because you're at a certain place doesn't mean you're always going to be like this, right? There's going to be times where it takes a little bit of a dip. There's a lot of circumstances they were going through last year, and not saying that affects that, but, these are still 17 to 22-year-old young men. But one thing I'll say about Mark D'Antonio is they were 3-9 last year. They're 4-1 this year and ranked 21st in the country. That's him. That's who he is. That's what type of culture he runs, and that's the type of program he leads. And I think he's a Hall of Fame coach and one of the best in the country.
PJ, what was your thinking on the first punt in the Purdue game when Santoso didn't punt, used another punter?
Yeah, we were into a 30-mile-an-hour wind, and what we wanted to do was use our rugby punts, and which we work on every single day. And so we decided to rugby punt it. We just didn't punt it far enough into the middle of the field, right? That's one of the directions we have is when the wind's blowing from our right to left that strong, you want to punt it in the middle of the field, let the wind take it back over. We just didn't execute it. So, but it was to be able to not have a punt soar in the air and have it pushed back. Because if you saw the first half of that game and you were in warm-ups, there were kickoffs that went straight in the air and almost only went 25 yards and then drifted out of bounds. So those are things we cover prior. We just didn't execute it.
Coach, you said after last game that Connor's going to stay the starter. What goes into your decision-making through that?
Well, he's the best quarterback we have right now. That's the easiest way to be able to go through it in my mind as a head football coach. We wouldn't be 3-2 if it wasn't for Connor Rhoda, right? But one thing I'll say about Connor Rhoda is, he's played 6 total games in his entire career, and we want him to have 60 years of experience or 60 games of experience in 6 games to say, why do you do this, why do that? This is part of, as he goes through the next however many games, he's got to continue and do it better than anybody else to embrace his past to create his future, right? Failing is growth. But if we just think we're going to have a guy that doesn't have a ton of experience, right, and say, well, okay, you're not allowed to fail. You're only allowed to do great things because you're the starter. I don't think that's fair. And, like I said, the play that he ran towards the end, I'll put that on me. In terms of the play call, I'll put that in terms of me. I look back at it. Could we put him in a different position? Possibly. In terms of the defense, could I possibly got him out of that one? Possibly. But again, that falls on me. Not being able to finish a game falls on me, not him. And but I think he's done a great job up until this point of doing what we've asked him to do. He's also made a lot of big-time throws for us. He's led our football team. He's done a lot of positive things for our community. He's done a lot of positive things to bring this team and collectively together. He is the leader of this football team. But just because he's made a few mistakes doesn't mean I'm going to pull him out. And I said that all the way back to when I was talking about a 2-quarterback system. I'm not going to be emotional when you make that decision. Okay, well, you made a mistake. You sit down. That's not fair. He's got to continue to fail and grow as he goes through. But again, it's a growing process for him, that's for sure.
With Jared Weiler coming back, are there other moving pieces along the offensive line?
It's going to have to be, Andy. It's going to have to be. So I'll kind of leave it at that right now. There's going to have to be.
With the injuries that you guys have sustained on defense, what does it mean to have a guy like Steve Richardson just be that kind of constant in the middle?
Well, the good thing about Steven is he's playing really at a high level right now. I mean, now I know he's not necessarily, you're talking about the productive part, but he's seeing two people every single play still. But he's still productive in quarterback hurries, and he's playing the system as well as you can play it right now. It's nice to have that anchor in the middle. You'd like to be able to have 11 anchors, right, all playing at the same time, but you don't. But it's nice to have that consistent upfront battle that he's going to win his individual battles every single play.
What sticks out about Michigan State on film?
Well, they're just incredibly consistent. They're opportunistic on defense, and they're consistent on offense. Offense, they don't beat themselves. They really don't. They are who they are. They run the football. They're just like a normal Michigan State team, tough, going to grind it out on the ground. They're going to play action pass you. But also what they've added now is the element of the quarterback running, which makes them a little bit more dangerous than they've been in terms of that extra element, and you have to account for the quarterback a lot more than you used to have to with Connor Cooks and things like that in terms of a true running quarterback that has a lot of athleticism that way. Defensively, they're very opportunistic. I mean, they had 5 takeaways. And I know we had 4 takeaways, scored 17 points. They had 5 takeaways, scored 14 points last game. But it's hard to score points, in our Big Ten when we're very evenly matched at a lot of positions. And that's what we've seen the last 2 games. But that's where I see from them. And they're very they play extremely hard on special teams. It's a typical Mark D'Antonio football team. I mean, everybody knows what that means. They're tough. They're going to grind it out. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play action pass. They're going to beat you on defense, get the ball away from you, control the clock. He's a fabulous coach.
And what you observed from being in close proximity to that program the last 4 years, are there pieces of what he's done there that, that's been successful there that you think
Yeah, there's a lot of things, a lot of similarities in terms of they said it couldn't be done when he got there. Right? Oh, but we'll never be able to get that quickly, or won't be able to get to that part or overtake this school or things like that. And all he's done is do it. Right now, it took time to do it, but that's all he's done is do it. One thing else I'll say about Mark D'Antonio is that he's very selfless. He constantly sees the big picture of things, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind me sharing the story because it's public knowledge. But to be able to have an in-state coach when you're at a directional school sign up for games that have 2 at his place, that's one thing. Now there's 2. If you give 2 at our place, we're going to now come to your place. And that is still the largest crowd in Western Michigan history in modern-day football when there was no fire codes, okay? Because now you can't get past the records at times because of fire codes, right? So, and that's because he saw the big picture for the state of Michigan, not only for just Michigan State, but he saw it for Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan, Western Michigan, the directionals of how that can influence them, right? And what that can do for their budget. What can they do for the state of Michigan? And I think Central beat them one year. It was something that wasn't going to possibly not backfire, but that's the type of coach he is. He sees bigger picture.
Coach, how big of a deal is it for you to keep those red shirts intact?
It's a huge deal. We're going to have to break another one this week, but that's what I have to do. We're going to give our players this year the best chance to win. And I could easily say I'm not redshirting anybody. That's not fair to Steven Richardson. That's not fair to Connor Rhoda. But again, there's also decisions, and there's a balancing act of how much is too much, right? And there's a difference between, and right now we're kind of in this stage of there's freshmen that are ready to play, that want to play, okay, that need to play because they're that good, right? And then you have this group over here that's not ready to play, but now they have to play. That's not the position you want them to be in. And we're playing some freshmen, and now we got some other freshmen who are playing that should not be playing hurt again or just got them hurt. And now all of a sudden the person behind them is behind them for a reason, and now they're even a less experienced and less ready freshman. But again, it's all our excuses. Who cares? But that's the position we're in. And that's why I'm here, and that's why our 18 class, we have the most commitments, tied for the most commitments in the Big Ten. People want to be here. They want to be here for the opportunities, but that doesn't help for the next 7 weeks. What helps for the 7 weeks is getting the guys ready to play football games and giving them the confidence that they can go do that. And if they might have a little bit of a physical disadvantage, we got to give them the mental edge. So that's our job to be able to create that for them. But I know whoever we put out there, we're going to trust to get the job done. We've had to simplify some things, and which, again, a lot of you might look at it as we're pretty simple to begin with. We've had to simplify, and that's all by where we're at.
Are you any further with possible position changes, or can you talk any specifics? Or
You know, I'm getting there. I won't speak about that today. I still haven't made the final decision on that, but that's the last resort. Okay, isn't that a restaurant in the Mall of America, the last resort, where they're not even very nice to you? When you get to the last resort, nobody's nice to you, right? And so I think that's the whole. We don't want to get there. But if we have to do that, we're going to have to do that. But I don't want to do it. I don't think we'll have to do it. But if we have to, then that will be the last resort.
Coach, how much feedback have you gotten from emails or texts or calls from fans? And is there a general tenor? Is that more than you expected?
Well, I think Heather's back there. She can answer that question. She's at home more than I am. Yeah, you get a lot of letters in the mailbox. Not sure how everybody knows where we live. You guys put my address in the paper. I don't mind the house, but the address, come on. But yeah, so you get emails, you get texts, you get packages, you get a lot of things. So one day there'll be positive gifts. Right now they're not so positive gifts, but that's okay. I mean, what I love about that, remember, I'm the positive person, so not much is ever going to get me down. What I love about it, though, is we have a passionate fan base that wants to win, and I get it. But that's why I'm here. And so I understand that, and we'll get to that point.
How does the team learn how to finish games like the last 2 weeks?
Well, the thing about finishing, you just don't go out there and say, hey, we got finished. And then you go out there, wow, that was a great speech, coach. Thanks. We didn't know that. Finishing comes from a lot of things. One is experience. Being in those situations an awful lot and doing it, right? And then also not doing it. What does it feel like to do it? What does it feel like not to do it? To consistently do that. Then there's that confidence factor of knowing you can do it and that there is no stopping you, right? And then there becomes a depth issue, and then becomes a skill issue. There becomes all those things that kind of come into play to that. Are you good enough to be able to finish those games? How do you have to finish those games to win those games? We did everything we could to make sure that was a 9-minute 36-second drive against Purdue. Leave 1 second on the clock to kick that field goal, because that's what we have to do to give ourselves the best chance to win. That's why we went for it on 2 4th downs, okay? And that's why even the 3rd and 4 at the end, in my mind, I was like, I think we need to go for this. But then we're sitting in this room, and everybody's like, why didn't you kick the field goal just to take – you would have won the game. Would we have won the game, though? We obviously didn't, right? So you guys wouldn't have known what would happen. That's what would have happened, right? So, yeah, exactly, Andy. So that's what goes through my mind in terms of how do I get this football team to finish games with their strengths and what they do really well. Because it's not just about finishing the game. It's about how you get them to finish the game in the best way that you know them as a coach that they can finish the game. So, that was what we did, everything we possibly could to do that. We slip on the kickoff. That's unfortunate. We miss a tackle on the kickoff. That's unfortunate. And then, they were an inch away from a sack, and they complete a ball. It was a heck of a catch, and we don't catch them. And then next thing you know, it's a touchdown. So it's unfortunate, but they'll learn from that. And these are things that guys are going to be in the program a long time, some of them, and they're going through those growing pains right now. But again, the guys up front, the seniors, they're the ones that have to step up and lead the charge.
When the schedule comes out and you see it's going to be a night game, I guess the way to ask it is, what is it about night games that makes it so special? I'm sure when it was announced, you were excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen at night. I think that's kind of the whole thing in terms of TV games. Anything happens at night. They talk about LSU at night, all the things in college football, what could happen. But again, it's another opportunity for us to play. It just happens to be dark. But I think it's really cool that the 21st ranked team in the country is coming in, TCF Bank Stadium. We get to play a night game. In the Mid-American Conference, you play night games all the time. You played them on election night. You played them on Wednesdays. You played them on Thursdays. You played them all the time. So I'm used to all those. But there's a sense of excitement throughout the whole day, the anticipation of playing, and then know you're under the lights at TCF Bank Stadium. I think our players, I don't want them getting more excited for one game and then dropping down for another game. I'm not into all that. So I've never talked to them about the night game and, wow, we have to play better because it's at night. That's not what we're focused on. We're focused on being a better football team than we were last week.
Coach, why is Demry Croft listed as second on the depth chart now?
Why? What?
Why is Demry Croft listed?
Why is or isn't?
Why is he?
Why is he? Well, because after Connor, it's kind of up in the air. you can put an or by any of them, just based on where we're at, you know. So, you know, that's kind of where I feel we are, and if something ever happened to Connor, and I would have to make a decision of who goes in the game. So we'll see.
Did he beat out Seth Green this week in any way? Did he outcompete Seth Green, or was it just?
I think it's just. I think I might just write it down, to be honest with you, in terms of you can put an or by any of them. So I'll have to make a decision. There's not one guy beating out another guy right there. I don't think that's necessarily the opportunity to do that. You know, there are not enough plays to do that for the backup or the third string when you're getting ready for the game.
PJ, what was your reaction to Gary Anderson leaving Oregon State?
Well, first of all, I think Gary Anderson's a tremendous football coach who really cares about student athletes. He really understands why we coach and what we do. I think he made that very evident in what he said. And I think, you know, he's, you know, I've known him for a little bit. I haven't known him long, but he's always been really good to me. And anytime a coach leaves a program, whether they leave on their own or whether they get fired, it's a tough process to go through for the kids, right? But I think he had the kids. You know, I don't know him and I don't know the situation, but I know from what he said, you know, he had the kids on his mind when he makes the decision that he makes. And at the end of the day, that's why we coach, for our student athletes.
One or two more? Are the Geese here to stay?
Yeah, the Geese have been here for a long time, guys. I mean, yeah, been here a long time. And so you guys asked about them. Your big story last week, and like some of you made it like a reaction, like, okay, they lost that game, so we brought the Geese out. You know, no, the Geese have been here. These two are getting closer together. So, nope, they're here to stay.
Do you want to weigh in on the duck, duck, goose, duck, duck, gray duck controversy? Are you aware of that?
I have other things to worry about. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea.
Duck, duck, goose in the end zone.
Oh, you know, I did see that.
Well, but in Minnesota, it's duck, duck, gray duck. I don't know why.
I've only been here 8 months. I'm going to have to read up on that. Look, I got the loon as a state bird, right? I got that down. Yep, Coach Mauder and I are becoming like this is great. You know, I'm learning. I'm learning all my Minnesota things right now. I got to know the gray duck. I got to get to know that one. What's that?
You played Duck, Duck, Goose when you played it
When you're a kid?
in Illinois.
Now, careful, Minnesotans will go duck, duck, gray duck on you.
I'm a Vikings fan, everybody. Next question.
You had three sophomore linebackers, well, defensive end linebackers, all from Minnesota with Coughlin, Martin, and Barber. What does that mean to have those guys contributing and being hometown guys too?
Well, it's huge. I think, one, it's huge for the state of Minnesota, you know, in terms of keeping our talent here, and they're going to help recruit as we continue to go forward. But I think it's really important to know they're really young. You know, they're underclassmen, and they're going to be around for a long time. And to have them playing significant roles, right? We're talking significant roles with a lot of youth on our football team. That's only good for the future. You know, that really helps us now, but it really helps for the future. But like I said, my mindset is in a lot of places. As a head coach, you have to juggle a lot because you're planning for the future. You know what the future holds. You know you have to get recruiting classes in here to fix a lot of issues and challenges that you have. But you also have a lot of men in this football team, meeting room every day that deserve your best and deserve a chance to win every day. And that's what matters to me right now. So when I talk about even the future is talking right now at whatever time it is. And in terms of it's right now on. And that's what my whole focus has to be. Embracing our past, learning everything we can to create our future. And guys like that really help that.
One more? Is everybody good? Okay. Thanks, Coach.
You got it. Roll the boat, Sky Ma, go Gophers. Thank you.